That's a motherfucking no-no. It's just another episode. Get your popcorn ready. We let the chopper explode. Hold the trigger finger steady. We gon' handle our business. Handle our business. Handle our business. Get the fuck up out your feelings. Handle our business. Handle our business. Handle our business. Get the fuck up out your feelings. Just another episode. Get your popcorn ready. We let the chopper explode. Hold the trigger finger steady.
You give a fuck about a hater, nigga. Wish you real.
Yo, what's up, everybody? How you doing out there? Make some noise. Make some noise. It is Tuesday, August the 29th. It is 3:30 in the afternoon, and I am back with another video for you guys. Now, what I'm gonna be doing, I'm gonna be listening to Cam Newton. Okay, he's gonna be reacting to I think it's the GM Barry for the Cleveland Browns, and they're talking about the quarterback situation over there at Cleveland. Shedeur Sanders, Deshaun Watson. We got Cam Newton on deck and his co-host Peggy. Without further ado, guys, here we go. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Where'd the video go? Here we go. I'm gonna add myself to the screen before I start it. Hold on one second. Let me add myself back out here. I'm gonna follow along with y'all. There we go.
Brought to you by Wonderful Pistachio.
First down! Viral moment of the week! Peggy! What we got?
It must be the money. And GM of the Cleveland Browns, Andrew.
Yes, and put it out there and ask you the question because it's easier just coming straight from the horse's mouth. And it's a lot of people I know you heard that said, you know what? They're paying Watson too much money to not start him. How much pressure is on you to start Watson because of what you're paying?
It doesn't matter what they're paid when they're on the field. What we want are wins and performance and production. It's a performance-based, decision.
Press pause right there, Peggy! Because one man's negligence is another man's ability to call the man with the negligence ignorant.
Okay.
You ever heard that before,
I
Peggy?
don't know, brother. You got me a
Put
little
it in
lost in
your
the sauce.
tablet. Because if anybody were to think
Put it in your
that
tablet.
our good friend Deshaun Watson would still be on that roster if it wasn't certain framework, footprint, note print, and wording
he right.
that says he
right.
cannot have a no trade.
He definitely right. I mean, with everybody been talking about the press conference he had and how the Cleveland fans they disliking him and all that. Really, to be honest with you, if it wasn't for that within that framework of that contract, I don't think he would still even be in Cleveland.
Trade clause
Okay.
and a fully guaranteed contract.
My lord.
All right. But that's neither here nor there. What is here is Andrew Barry has publicly said that it comes down to three things.
Okay.
Performance.
Wins,
Uh-huh.
performance, production.
Yeah.
In other words, performance.
When we seen the performance for the preseason game,
Yeah.
where Shedeur had some good things, some bad things, as he goes on to say, Mr. Barry, and as well as Deshaun Watson has some good things, some bad things. The thing we must understand is Captain Obvious.
Okay. What is that?
Deshaun Watson is going to start for the Cleveland Browns this year.
Day one.
Day one.
Okay.
But in no stretch of the imagination are the Cleveland Browns obligated to ride it out throughout the year if he doesn't go back to Andrew Barry's top three reasons why we will choose our quarterback.
Absolutely.
Wins, performance,
Okay.
production.
Yeah.
You gotta be.
He goes
You
on
gotta
to say,
produce.
This is a production-based
You
league,
gotta
as if to
produce.
say that it's
And
not.
also, you got to get
This is
the
Captain
you
Obvious.
gotta get the
Yeah.
wins.
So for
But if
anybody
you're
to
producing,
think,
even if y'all losing,
well,
it's not
Shedeur
because of
go-
you.
Whoa.
Okay,
Money does matter.
You want to stay on the
Oh,
field.
it definitely does.
But don't get jaded by the money. Because if you think that money that we giving you is going to automatically solidify or cement your seat in the front seat, no, brother. That's not how it works. Hold on. No.
Hey, bro, we're trying to get you.
Hey, listen.
Yeah.
You will get tapped on your shoulder. If you disregard the tap, you will get yanked
Okay.
up out of that seat. All right?
Yeah.
Because the Cleveland Browns, the Brownies, all right, have been feeding no Travis Scott
Okay.
for a quarterback, a team worth fighting for, screaming for, yelling for, celebrating.
Hold on,
We
man.
trying to find somebody.
This nigga
that can
Cam Newton,
orchestrate
boy, he got the
celebrate.
cadence in his voice. The Cleveland Brown fan base is going to be looking for a savior to come and save the season. He got a cadence like a preacher, so like, nigga, what the fuck? Oh, shit. Yeah. He performed like a motherfucker for your head.
Yeah.
Now,
But he's right.
orchestrate the dissemination.
But I'll say this about
the
Andrew
dissemination.
Shedeur, though. He said
The Cleveland
money doesn't matter when you on the field.
Browns.
But one thing that he left out, money definitely matters for your place in line to get on the field.
Oh, yeah.
And you have a guy with $46 million, just to your point, $46 million sitting on the bench or battling for a roster spot with somebody where their numbers are close. Deshaun Watson is gonna actually get the first shot. And I do think you're right in regards to that, because that $46 million is a big load to just sit on the bench. He's going to get first, quote unquote, first rights of refusal. You know what I'm saying? He's going to get the first rights because of the contract.
This episode is brought to you
Absolutely.
by Wonderful Pistachio.
These are the chocolate sea salt and the chocolate toffee. Roast
Sweet. What not doing?
Cheerios.
Playing or not? And I'm saying this, waving the yellow and red flag. The load is what the load is.
For sure.
Whether he is playing or when you give a person that much money, he is supposed to be the reason why you are winning games. Not the reason why you're losing games. And if you're not on the field, you're the reason why we have to outsource certain things when we are paying you to be that specific individual. whether he-
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. whether he
So
was
just to
on the field-
piggyback off what Cam Newton just said right there. Okay, so the fact of the matter is, and this is what I need everybody out here to understand. They acting like it was this big battle for Shedeur Sanders, and we understand Shedeur has the support of football fans, not just Cleveland fans. It's people who are not even Cleveland Browns fans. They want to see Shedeur Sanders on the field. I mean, I guess it's just the way he marketed himself coming up through, the Deion Sanders, umbrella. And, he learned from the best when it comes to marketing yourself and just being in the spotlight. Shedeur Sanders is that. He done made himself a celebrity, so to speak, a polarizing figure within the league. This is why I think a lot of teams was, passed on him in the draft all the way down to the 5th round, I believe. Okay, so we understand, that side of the game. Shedeur has, a particular part of this fan base, not just Cleveland fans, like I said, okay? But what Cam is saying right here, and I agree, is the fact that it's not a real QB battle, and this is what I was saying, because he is being paid as a starter. He's being paid as a franchise quarterback, a starting quarterback in this league. So, of course, he's going to have to go out there and play and prove, okay, that he can or cannot get it done. They're not going to put a 5th rounder in there who they only obligated, about $1 million to Shedeur Sanders as far as salary is concerned. Okay, and opposed to $46 million that's owed to Deshaun Watson. So he's being paid like a franchise quarterback. So, of course, he is going to have that support of, okay, I'm not going to even say the coach. The coach may want Shedeur. But the owner is gonna be like, no, 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 no. We can't do that. We are paying this man. We got to get return on this investment. And not to say that Deshaun Watson can't get it done. I totally believe that Deshaun Watson. Okay, let's just stop the fucking cap right now. I get it. Shedeur Sanders is polarizing. Shedeur Sanders, he has upside and potential. Shedeur Sanders has obviously gotten better from, his time at Colorado last year. Started a few games last year. He performed, had some ups and downs, of course. He had all of this offseason and training camp and everything like that this year to get better. So he has gotten better. But let's just stop the cap right now. He is not a better quarterback than Deshaun Watson. Not right now. But I will say, during the course of the season, depending on how Deshaun Watson is able to handle the pressure of not having that fan base really behind him, if he can go out there and perform well, okay, and he can dispel some of these things, or if he takes a step back and Shedeur continues to grow, then we could definitively say that Shedeur is a better quarterback. I think he has a better upside right now. I think Deshaun Watson, he is not performing at his peak level before he got hurt and before he came to Cleveland, like his time in Houston. Okay, can he get back to that? If he can get back to what he was in Houston, then there's no question that he's a better quarterback than Shedeur Sanders. Now, we've seen the peak of Deshaun Watson. If he can get back to that, then we know. Okay? So let's just stop that right now.
Or not, that's still a load worth bearing that he has to say, if you don't perform up to expectation, we got to find somebody to. If you were to perform under expectation, you are covering our blind spots because of your ability to perform at a high level.
Yeah.
So whether you're on the bench or on the field, that load is still going to get paid for. So why not give him first rights of refusal, as you're saying? So I don't want it just to be garnered. Well, we paying too much money for that person to be on the bench. Well, listen, if we paying that money for that person to be on the field, knowing good and well that performance is worthy of the bench, the load gonna be what the load is. That's my point.
I want to ask you this though, and you can even say it's obvious though why they're doing this, but why are we even putting it as a quote unquote QB battle? Or why do you think the Browns are prefacing it as a QB battle if we already know Deshaun is going to start? And
okay,
he was talking.
I'm gonna answer that before Cam even answer.
Like normally,
this is why
historically, if the numbers are.
This is why they're putting it out there in the media as a QB battle. Simple. It's called marketing. You know what I'm saying? They are drawing eyes to their franchise, to their team that's still in headlines. Okay? That was the number one story yesterday. It's probably the number one story today about I know it's a top story in sports media today. So this is just a page out of Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones's book right here is what you're seeing. You're seeing headlines being stole by the Cleveland Browns, okay? And that's why they're sitting here naming it a QB battle. You know what I'm saying? When is it really a QB battle? No, because they already knew off rip based on the numbers that Deshaun Watson was going to start on week 1. So let's see what Cam has.
Somewhat close. They will start the younger player because of the future they have. But why do you even think that the Browns are even entertaining a quote-unquote QB battle? Or what are they looking for if they already know Deshaun Watson is going to start?
Well, just for people to remember and understand, Deshaun Watson really haven't played full football for 2 years.
No.
He got hurt in the latter part of 2023 or 24 season, if I remember.
No, Cam, to your point, he got hurt in 2024. He's had 7 starts in his last 2 years. He's 1-6 before the Achilles tear in 24.
So even with that, he wasn't playing good ball before the Achilles tear. And then you have an injury, which now eliminates half of a season, then suspends you from the next season because of rehabilitation reasons.
Yeah.
So as an organization, we have to say, hey, we got to figure something out here. We got our hands tied behind our back because of the situation that we put into for said player. Now, Deshaun Watson has shown to be a hell of a player. If we have to remind ourselves, the performance that Deshaun Watson had as a young player in this league versus the Legion of Boom, and that was the Legion of Boom in Seattle, and that performance, and then go into, to go into the Texans as a team where a lot of people wasn't expecting a lot of, he'd been able to, create magic, so to speak. Yeah. So he can play, or has shown the ability to play. But where we are now, we have not seen that or heard of that. Given whatever reason to his particular situation, I don't think he has enough talent. When he was in Houston, he had D-Hop.
Yeah.
D-Hop, Jerry Jeudy, they're two different receivers.
That's true.
I don't think that Jerry Jeudy is a bona fide number one. I think he needs help. Concepcion, alumni, C1N. Deshaun Watson, alumni, C1N. But I have to call it, Concepcion is a young player. Mm-hmm. We can't expect him to have 1,200 Jackson Smith and Jigba numbers.
Shit.
But that's not to say it's not possible.
Hold on, Cam. Let me stop your ass right there. That boy Concepcion is the damn truth, man. Let me tell y'all something about that brother right there. That boy right there is very, very, very capable of coming out there and getting 1,200 yards. I said that before the draft. I'm like, okay, this is the best receiver in the draft, in my opinion. I'm telling you, and I think he's going to prove that this season with the Cleveland Browns. That boy's a bona fide, hey, the boy can play, bro. Straight up. I'm telling you. So I'm going to stop Cam right there. So don't shoot down Concepcion because he a young player. Obviously, he ain't proved it yet. But I'm going to tell you, he has that potential. And I see that boy every time I turn on the TV, he popping out the screen. Concepcion is really that deal. And I think he going to prove
that.
it.
But we're not expecting that. Yeah. Just given the learning curve of any young player. So, yes, there's been a deficit on multiple different levels. But when you see, okay, Shedeur Sanders, on the other hand, he hasn't had the reps. Now, you pour into Shedeur like you would pour into any other player.
Yeah.
And let's see what we get. Talent or not, does he put us as the whole team in the best situation to perform or be where we want to be in this division? This is the division that also has Cincinnati. This is the division that also has Baltimore. This is the division that also has Pittsburgh.
Okay, so to what he's saying about Shedeur, I'm going to keep having to stop because I had to put my 2 cents in. Now, I agree. I do agree that I think Shedeur probably puts them in the best situation going forward into the future. The only deal, though, they just owe Deshaun so much bread, bro. $46 million is a lot of damn money, dog. Okay, you can't just get rid of that. You know what I'm saying? Now, as far as Shedeur in the future, I think that he has the upside. I think Shedeur has the potential to be one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL. I do believe that. Now, if you think that as an argument, and I'm not saying right now, but I will say he go through this year, next year, you could start to put him up there. I think he will be able to show you that he is a top 5, top 6, top 7 quarterback in the league. You know what I'm saying? Because one thing that you have to have, and you have to have that swagger and that confidence in this, pretty much in the game, period, but at that position. And I think that that's something that he has, and I don't think it'll waver. Whether he have a good game or a bad game, I think he's going to be the same pretty much. And so he's not afraid to go out there, you know what I'm saying, and push the envelope. And as long as he's continued to improve, I think he could be a top 5 quarterback. And like I said, moving forward for the future for Cleveland, I think he will be right because, like I said, he got the fan base already. You dig what I'm saying? And not only that, he done polarized pretty much the league. He got fans all over the league. You know what I'm saying? So I say it could balance itself out if you just say, okay, we gonna just say for argument's sake, okay, well, we just pretending that we paying Shedeur the $46 million. You know what I'm saying? If we just, you know what I'm saying? You know, that'll be the thought process. But in the back of your mind, you like, man, we got Deshaun Watson on the bench, man. He making all this money. He just got his feet kicked up. It's like, that's a hard pill to swallow, dog. I'm just gonna be honest.
Division that Cleveland has last place in their division written all over it. So I don't care if this is Andrew's thinking, paraphrase. I don't care if it's Deshaun or Shedeur.
We gotta win.
We have to win.
Yeah.
It's been musical chairs of positions.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking about athletic or football positions, from GMs to people in charge, trainers, strength coaches, offensive coordinators, head coaches, quarterback coaches, defense. I mean, listen, everybody been looking like a whole a shuffling of a spade game. Yeah. So they trying to figure that out. And Andrew is telling everybody, hey, money or not, we need to find out who's going to win us some football.
Because he's going to be up out of there if they don't win.
Cam, to your
the numbers
point.
not that far apart. Like, just so I give you context, just from the Bears game, passing, Deshaun went 11 from 15, 126 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Shedeur went 6 of 11, 79 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 1 interception. But Deshaun Watson did lose a strip play, and he lost the fumble, and then obviously Shedeur threw an interception. So it's not like it's a big gap between the two. Like you historically, like I said, it would be more favorable for Shedeur if the contract wasn't what the contract was to start him, because they're not just playing. Deshaun is not head and shoulders have cemented himself over Shedeur with quarterback play. So go ahead.
And Cam, to your point about
okay,
winning.
hold on. So let's go back to what he was saying about quarterback play. Okay, which I think, like I said, Shedeur is getting better, and he's been getting better. Okay, but I did see them guys in practice early on in the beginning of like training camp. You know what I'm saying? Mini camp or something. I remember seeing those guys, and they were side by side. They were both taking snaps, and they were both throwing the football. Deshaun Watson looked more fluid, looked more professional-like in the way he, his whole movement, his whole throwing motion, everything looked more crisp and professional when it was Deshaun Watson versus Shedeur Sanders in that moment. Now that don't say everything, because I know a lot of people, some people are, good at practice. They make everything look good in practice, but then in the game and on process. You know what I'm saying? So I get that. But yeah, Deshaun looked a lot more fluid, a lot more natural in his throwing motion and his drops and everything that I saw in camp. But that was early in camp. And like I said, Shedeur's getting reps every day. He's working on his game, working on his sure he's throwing the ball every day, working on his footwork, working on his throwing motion. So I'm sure that's tightening up, and that gap is probably closing each and every day. You know what I'm saying? When you go back to and I think and not for nothing, I think that this is in his DNA to do this. And now I'm gonna bring up Kobe Bryant when I say this. When you go out here and you put in that extra work and you working, anybody that's ahead of you, you can close that gap. And over time, you can actually surpass them. And over time, you can actually lap them, and they can never catch up to you because you're putting in so much more work, so much more extra reps, so much more practice. And I think Shedeur has that in him. Don't quote me on this, but I think that he is that type of guy that's gonna come in there and try to outwork everybody. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I tell my son too. Like, I tell him, I say, bro, hey, boy, when you get in that locker room, you know what I'm saying? When you get inside that facility, you look around to your right and your left, and you look at the guys, and these are your competition, and you don't let nobody outwork you. You outwork everybody in there. You know what I'm saying? In that building. And I think Shedeur is that type of guy. I'm not. Don't quote me on that. I just think that. But yeah, in the beginning of camp, yeah, Deshaun, his throwing motion, his drops, everything was way more crisp, way more solid, way more like put together than Shedeur Sanders early. Now I don't know how they look right now because I hadn't really seen them side by side. But you can go back and look at that for yourself.
Their first 5 games are Jacksonville, Tampa Bay, Carolina, Pittsburgh, and the Jets, which is a pretty favorable schedule. What does his record need to be to hold on to his job after those first 5?
At minimum, 3-2.
3-2. You damn right.
Deshaun.
You gotta be 3-2.
And those 2 losses cannot be
because of you.
blowouts.
No,
Yeah.
they
You
can't
gotta
be
be
because
like
of
They
him.
have to be
Nail-biters.
competitive.
No, and not
it
just
can't be
competitive.
off the hands of you, the reason why we lost.
He has to put
All
up
right,
good
so
numbers.
in
He
the
has to be
mistaken
like a
in
top
regards to this.
10
No, I
quarterback.
probably already
Like
know
his
the answer.
listen, hold
I
on.
think
Let me
you're
let me
right
say
in
this
regards to
because
that
these guys.
3-2.
Let me put my 2 cents in. Like I'm in the studio with them. Deshaun Watson has to be playing at a top 10 quarterback performing level in order to keep his job through week 5. That's how I see it. That's how I see it.
At minimum.
At minimum, though. Like
That's worse.
because they already are chopping at the bit for Shedeur, like the fan base.
And not to say that even if they lose in those games, let's say they 2-3 at the time, but if Deshaun Watson is putting up MVP numbers, then they can't bench him. You see what I'm saying? So you got I don't know how to say it. So they backs could be up against the wall if you're the front office. If even what I'm saying. So if Shedeur is playing, not Shedeur, if Watson is playing better through 5 games and he's playing on an MVP type level, you can't bench him, whether they winning or losing.
I don't think it's
Everything
more
about that.
Shedeur than just
A difference.
they're ready to turn a page or turn a chapter in the era of Deshaun Watson. That's what I do. I don't
How
think
they
this
ready to
has
turn the
anything
page?
to
You
do
can't
with
turn
Deshaun versus Shedeur. More
I think
so.
it makes it
You
worse.
can't
though,
turn the
being that
page
who,
because he
quote, unquote,
owed so
Shedeur
much money.
is.
You
Oh,
can't
for
turn
sure.
the
Yeah.
page.
It doesn't help the situation.
Oh no, it's almost like to your extent. We will always talk about like what does it look like for me to sit on the bench? Me speaking as in you.
Yes.
And it's that same aura. It makes it hard for the starting quarterback to really be comfortable within a win or a loss because it's like this guy right here, the people want to see it. The front office, some of them probably want to see it now. And so I think for even that, in the Deshaun Watson case, it's like, and then also with his past, it's like, bro, we looking for every reason not to let you play.
I'll give you an example. This is the last thing I have. What Deshaun Watson will go through this year is similar to what Russell Wilson went through last year. Russell Wilson was a person who was the Band-Aid or the person that has lost the confidence in a fan base or the reason why, hey, you're here for just whatever. When you draft a guy like Jackson Dart, all right, well, Shedeur's relevance has risen by way of popularity, by way of performance, by way of just said aura.
Exactly.
There will be a monkey on the back of Deshaun Watson if he does not perform as he needs to perform. If you go into week 6 at 2-3, if not sooner, you will hear boo birds.
Oh yeah.
We want Shedeur.
Facts.
Because I don't think it's a Shedeur talent thing, which I do believe Shedeur Sanders is extremely talented. He has shown that.
It's that
But
aura,
I
it's
think
that persona.
the Cleveland Browns
it's that-
organization is ready to wash their hands with the Deshaun Watson experiment.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't give them a reason to say, okay, I am cashing in good stock,
Yeah.
it's going to be what it's going to be.
If he can come back from this be one of the greatest comebacks. Though,
but let me add this to what they saying too. This some context, and then I'm gonna be done. I'm gonna stop it. I'm just gonna leave it right here because they done pretty much said everything that needs to be said about that whole situation. But I'm gonna add this to it. And what I'm gonna say is this right here, okay? And this is gonna be the icing on the cake right here. Okay, yeah, I get what Cam Newton is saying. Yeah, they want to wash their hands of this experiment with Deshaun Watson. I agree with that. Okay, but also they're not dumb and they're not, they not stupid. And what they will try to prove with those 5 games is that Deshaun Watson has something left in the tank. And what they are hoping and praying is that Deshaun Watson can go out there and perform well enough to where other teams may be interested in him and take up some of that money in some type of situation or a trade or something like that. Probably, hope. I'm pretty sure they saying, like he said, 5 games would be ideal, but in a 6 or 7 game span where he can go out there, perform well. If he performing, MVP tight, and then you got, let's just say something happens within another organization, some starter goes down and they got playoff aspirations and Deshaun is playing well, they make it get him out of there that type of way. Maybe they thinking that as well. So who knows? I don't know. But what I do know is Deshaun Watson is starting week 1, and he's going to be feeling a lot of pressure with Shedeur sitting on the bench with the polarization that he done came in with already. With the fans behind him. You know what I'm saying? So that's what they said in Gladiator. You win your crowd, you win your freedom. And I think Shedeur's won the crowd, and I think he has the support of their fan base out there in Cleveland. Guys, let me know what y'all think about this, man. Put it down in the comments. I'm going to ask this question. Is Shedeur Sanders ready? Is Shedeur Sanders a better quarterback at this stage right now than Deshaun Watson? Let me know what y'all think about that. Until next time, I am out. See you later.
That's a motherfucking no-no. It's just another episode. Get your popcorn ready. We let the chopper explode. Hold the trigger finger steady. We gon' handle our business. Handle our business. Handle our business. Get the fuck up out your feelings. Handle our business.